All right, so let's read the topic out. So today we're looking at topic 10. What is it? Let's read it out loudly together. 1, 2, go.
How do you feel about the Korean education system? What are the benefits to us? What do you do to improve it?
Right. So today we're going to be talking about a very important topic that is based on the Korean educational system. Okay. What are some benefits? What are some benefits of Korean educational system? So why am I repeating this? So you can just think a little bit. Okay. So think about the benefits and think about the drawbacks that we've seen based on your experience. Okay. A lot of you have had share of Korean educational system. Some of you are already middle school, and some of you are hoping to move into high school soon and all of that. So you've had a share of the Korean educational system, and you understand much better how it works. Okay. So many students, if you interview a lot of you or a lot of the students, they would say Korean educational is very difficult, it's very hard. Okay, and I think I accept with that. So we're going to be looking at few nuggets, that few points that relates to the Korean educational system. Okay, for example, in the Western world, students don't spend as much of the long time like Korean people spend in school. Okay, from kindergarten, students or kids always start getting stressed. You send the child to Yuchi-1 from 9 a.m. in the morning, the child comes back home at 5:30 or 6 p.m. That's an extremely long hours. Okay? And then from the Yuchi-1, from kindergarten they go to Yuchi-1, from Yuchi-1 they start elementary school. And after elementary school, at school, which closes around 12 or 1, they begin Pangao after school. And the after school programs runs until say 4 or 5 in the evening. And they start Hagwon again. Then the Hagwon system runs until late at night. Just like some people will be coming in at 8:20 tonight, and they'll be leaving here at about 11 p.m. Alright, so these and many more are the nuggets, are the points we're going to be looking at. Okay? Apart from the study period, the long study period, what is the study schedules like? Do you think Koreans have to study a lot, compared to other countries? And some of you have also traveled to some other countries. Do you think Korean people study a lot? Do you think that the curriculum is the things that we have to study? Do you think that Koreans have so much curriculum to cover for young children or for young students? All right, and then we are going to also be looking at the point of going to college. How is it to get into college? The SAT test, the test that people have to write, the long study hours, the long study system, the Korean educational exam system, the Korean educational system as a whole. So we're going to be looking at those points, and we'll be examining the benefits of those points as it relates to us, and we'll also be looking at the drawbacks. Okay? And then after looking at that, we'll look at a little bit on how do you think, or how would you propose an improvement to the system. Okay? So, but before we go into main discussion on this topic, answer the one more questions, and we're going to be writing the vocab, and then after that we'll start our brainstorming. Okay? But while you write down, think about what to say. Okay? The benefits and drawbacks. We done writing? Okay, so quickly, let's get started. There's something we call education fever in Korea. Okay? Education fever. Is that right? Is it education fever or what is it? Yeah, education fever, is it right? Yeah, something we call education fever in Korea. And education fever is simply what makes people or how people are pushed to study hard. Okay? Pushed to study hard. And then in our schools, there is high level of competition among students. The competition is too high. Okay? Everyone wants to have perfect score. Everyone, even best friends. You see two friends who are very good friends, and sometimes one of the friends get jealous of the other friends because they got really high score, better than them, right? So sometimes it puts us under a huge pressure, very huge pressure to study. Now let's examine. What do you think are the benefits or the drawbacks? You can choose either benefits or drawback of the Korean educational system based on your experience. Drawbacks, good. Now let's see, what are the drawbacks? Good. He said one of the drawbacks of the Korean educational system is it pushes people to have too much stress. Too much stress. Okay. Too much stress. Yes. Drawbacks or benefits? Oh my God. What is the drawback? It makes people fight for the first place, right? Okay, yes, drawbacks, benefits. Drawbacks, okay, what is it? Good. Limitation of creativity. Only correct answers apply, right? Benefit or drawbacks? Good. What is it? Motivation to study more effectively by Yes. Benefit or drawback?
Drawback.
What is it?
You can't learn a lot of things about what you're interested in.
We can't.
Learn a lot of things about what you can interact with.
Limitation to learn about our interests. So what do we learn about?
We have to learn school subjects.
Okay, yes. Drawbacks or benefits? What is it? Hmm? Good. Okay, next. Drawbacks or benefit? Yeah, what is the benefit? It can foster a lot of talent. What is benefit or drawbacks? Oh my God, everyone is doing drawbacks, so we have to go back to do benefits. Yes, what is your drawback?
Subjects are hard to understand.
Good. Inability for school to fully explain the complex subject. Inability for school to explain fully. Inability for school to fully explain the complex subject. Is it? Okay, now we've listed so many drawbacks. I'm going to review them together and then we're going to come back. So while I review, please think about benefits. Okay, there are lots of benefits in this. Really, really. There are lots. There are lots of benefits, really, really, really. Okay, so the first one, someone said it pushes people to have too much stress. Yeah. Yeah. There's a famous English saying, it says, all work and no play makes Jack a what? A dull boy. Okay? That means if you just keep working hard and you don't play, it makes you dull, right? So when students have to study too much, they can get stressed too. Okay? They can get stressed. Also, let me talk a little bit more on the stress aspect. It also limits socialization amongst Korean children, Korean students. Did you notice that when students get to high school, they stay away from their friends? They tend to be alone. Why? Because there are so many things they have to study and cover before SAT. So socialization is severe. They walk alone, they become more quiet, they become stiff and addicted to themselves, okay, just to study hard. Okay? And then the next one says it makes people to only focus and fight for the first position. That's true. If you come to a class, everyone wants to be the best. Now, if everyone becomes the best, who's going to be the rest? It's a big question. If all of us become the best, who's going to be the rest? Okay, that's a big question. Not everyone is actually destined to go to school. But this fact, a lot of Korean people, or a lot of Korean parents don't want to accept that. Korean parents don't want to accept it. They just want to push their children, just keep pushing them to go to school. But in the Western world, children are allowed to be themselves, okay? Find what they want to do, and their parents support them to do it. But in Korea, they push you to go to school. But it has a lot of advantage. Think about the advantage. The next one is limitation of creativity, only correct answers applies. In Korea, especially in Korean tests, when you don't write the correct answers, you might be right. You might be, if you notice, when you write big test, in the whole of PJ here, I score highest, both in your speaking and in your writing. Because I don't wait for you to get the right answer. I check your creative thinking. That's what I check. But maybe for other teachers, they want you to get the right answer. If you fail to get the right answer, you failed it. Okay? So this system has pushed people to kill their creative mindset. They only look forward to the right answers. Okay? That's a very good point. The next is limitation to learn about our interest. We are only exposed to school subjects. We mentioned that earlier. Okay? People are not allowed to learn their interests. They're not allowed to explore and develop what their special gifts are. Okay? They are only pushed to study school subjects. Next, people think that the only, even people who are good at sports, they only think I want to be PE teachers. People who are very good at sports, they are super good. They don't think about Olympics. They don't think about becoming soccer players and becoming famous. They don't think about becoming basketball players or becoming wrestlers. They only think about, I am good at sports, I want to be PE teacher. I have to study hard. Do you understand? So it changes our mindset. So the next is, people think that the only purpose of going to school is to get good grades. Yeah. A lot of people think like that. Stress. I'm so stressed. Why? Because my grade is not good. And then the last, inability for school to fully explain the complex subject. That's why Korean people go to academy. Most school teachers, they don't teach you, they don't expose you to the complex of study. But school teachers earn more than academic teachers. They earn more than academic teachers. And school teachers also get more vacations than academic teachers. But in the academy, most academies teach you detailed. In fact, some people go to academy just to help study hard, nitty-gritty, teach you the basic things you need to know. And you go to write school tests and you make high score. You see? So that's it. Now let's talk about benefits. First thing, okay, I'm going to come back and ask you guys. The first benefit we saw, motivation to study more effectively by attending different academies. Yes. The school system in Korea really motivates people to study more. But the point is, what if there is no money to go to academy? Not all the parents can afford to send their children to academy. In fact, think about it. If your parents, if a family has 3 kids or 4 kids, it's going to be very difficult for the parents to send them to because academies are very expensive. Imagine how much you pay here in PJ. Just imagine you have 3 siblings and your dad is paying for 4 of you to come here. Maybe all his won't go, all his salary will finish, right? And then next is it can foster a lot of talent in a person. I don't really get this point, but you can explain more. You give us this point. Tell us more. Oh, not talent in a person, talented person. So, meaning that people who are talented can grow their talent more, right? Okay, based on the system. Okay, that's a good one. Okay, give me more benefits. Of some benefit. While she thinks, let's get from someone else. Benefit. Okay. You can go to more good college. We can compete with world educational standard. That's why most Korean students who took part in math competition worldwide win it. They win it. World educational standard. Yes? More benefit. Good. We can have opportunities to access different subjects. Yeah. Did you think about anything? Learning varieties of things that might be useful to us someday. But did you have anyone? Yes. We can. Perfect. We can get high quality education. Okay. So I wouldn't want you to write if you don't have, but if you can write, you can write. So if you cannot write, you can take a photo. So here is what it is. The first one we did, the second one we did. The third one is we can go to a more good college. When we study hard, when we are exposed to all of this Korean study sickness, we can build our strength to write and go to Seoul National University. You can take a picture, go ahead. Or go to high quality college, okay? And then the next is we can compete with world educational standard. Like I mentioned, for math competitions, okay? And other science competitions too, okay? And opportunity to assess different subjects. When we are exposed to assessing different subjects and study them at school. And learning varieties of things that might be useful to us someday. That's a very good point. There's no knowledge, no waste knowledge. There's no knowledge that is a waste. Every knowledge is additional to you. If you don't use it right now, you can use it in the future. Okay? And the last one, high quality education. So, these have exposed people to high quality education. So that will be the end of the class. Thank you. Oh, we have 5 minutes. Huh? Okay, let's talk about the vocab before we go home. I also need this for other classes. Okay. Let's talk about the vocabulary. Number one, what is it? Evaluation. What is evaluation? Good. In a nutshell, everything there means assessment. Okay? Assessment. Evaluation means making a judgment about the amount of value of something. So assessment, trying to assess things. Okay? And then if we want to relate the assessment or evaluation, we can say it could be exam test assessment. Okay? Number two is what? Intelligence. What is it? The ability to acquire and apply knowledge and skill. Not just to acquire the knowledge, but you also have to apply the knowledge you acquire. Okay? One of the reasons why I allow you guys to contribute to the class is I could list these things on the board and just keep talking. But no, it's not necessary. Your application of knowledge is very important. Okay? It shows that you understood the topic and you are grasping the topic. So, not just to acquire knowledge, you have to what? Apply those knowledge and the skill into practice. Okay? If you just sit and listen to teacher tell you everything, you walk away. Of course, you know, Koreans have 24, we have 24 hours in a day. And in 24 hours, we all speak Korean. Okay? So if you don't practice, if you don't get a chance to express yourself in English at all, then it's useless. You're coming to English Academy. So next is memorization. What is it? The process of Koreans are super good in this, Korean students. In fact, a Korean student can memorize all these things. Korean students are super amazing in memorization, okay? Committing something to heart and learning without looking at it. Korean students are super good at this. The next is creativity. What is it? The use of imagination, especially in the production of artistic work. So, creativity is application of skill and imagination, all right, to produce a work. That's what we have to finish today. Thank you for your time. We still have a few minutes left. You can do whatever you want to do.